Hiya, babes, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Stopping By. Oh, it is very lovely to be back. Things may, if the audio sounds a little different or a little weird, it is because I'm trying out a new microphone. So please work with me. I'm trying out some new things for the podcast here. Because I enjoy doing this a lot. So I want to make sure it sounds good. But I also don't really know what I'm doing all that much. Also, I had to re-record this episode because the last episode I did, I just didn't think was very entertaining. I realized like half of it was just me looking things up on Google because I was talking about some video game stuff. And upon listening to it during editing, I realized it just wasn't very interesting. So I wanted to come and re-record it. So hopefully I can still get this up by tomorrow. Because I'm recording this Tuesday, at 2 p.m. So hopefully I can get this up by tomorrow. But with that being said, welcome back. Today's Wednesday episode, hopefully. So today you are just with me here. And I'm having this issue with the podcast right now, where the guest interviews are still, quite fun and pretty simple to do because I can interview people about their life and talk to them about whatever I want, But with the solo episodes, it's a bit harder to find things to talk about because I don't do much during the day because we are still in this shelter in place, our quarantine. There are rumors that it's supposed to end, I believe that the 22nd of this month is I think what it's set to right now, and there hasn't been any word on pushing it more forward in the future. But yeah, so there really isn't much to do. My birthday is coming up on Monday. Next Monday, the 18th, I will be 22 years old. Which is buck wild to me. Oh, that's something I could talk about. So, yeah, let's do that. Okay. So as I just said, Monday is my 22nd birthday. And so last year on my 21st birthday, whenever you're about to turn 21, you always hear from people, what are you going to do? Oh, you're going to get crazy. Where are you going to go to drink? Where are you going to blah, blah. And when I was growing up, I never really planned on, going out and getting blackout drunk on my 21st birthday. It just never really, enticed me. But my 21st birthday was also the same year that I had come out as transgender. So I had some friends who unfortunately I'm no longer friends with, that recommended we go bar hopping over in the neighborhood. Where I live, there is a street in the downtown area where there's a lot of queer clubs and bars that straight people love to go to and invade. But yeah, so our plan was to go bar hop at these queer bars and clubs. So we were all set. My main friend who was putting the whole thing on had a very religious family. the type who was like, hey, even though you're well over the age of 21, you're not going to drink in this house because this is the Lord's house or whatever, you know? So we couldn't drink, we couldn't pregame there. So we decided to rent a shitty little, like, motel room, and we were going to pregame there, get ready, and then go out to the clubs. And then once we were done at the clubs, just Uber back and sleep at the motel because we were all we were all planning on getting drunk, so we didn't want to go back to his family's house. But we arrive at the motel, and it is, it is a motel. I mean, it is like right on, just like a small, essentially a bedroom with 2 twin beds in it, a small little CRT TV, and a mini fridge, and it was tiny, man. And it was pouring fucking rain outside. Like, legitimately, like, it was coming down very, very aggressively. And it was like, fuck, what do we do? Because, it'd be one thing if we were just gonna go to one club and just, like, party or whatever, but our plan was to bar hop. The plan was to go to a bunch of different, our plan was to go to a bunch of different clubs and shit. And now that was all fucked up, so we were like, oh shit, what do we do? And at first we were like, okay, well, we'll just hang out in the hotel room a little bit longer and try and, like, wait it out, So we start pre-gaming, we start pulling out we had fucking Jello shots and fucking tequila and, like, vodka and all this shit. And I believe there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us in this small little fucking motel room. And as the night progressed, man, it was getting worse outside. It was fucking just hardcore coming down. There was no stopping the fucking rain. And so we eventually just gave up on the idea of going out, and so we essentially sat in this, like, small, dimly lit, depressing little room and all just kind of drank and talked for a bit, and then we all fell asleep, and that was the end. Like, that was my big 21st birthday fucking rah extravaganza that I got. Was that. How fucking sad is that, huh? It was supposed to be like this big awesome time, my first time out at the queer bars and stuff, and instead I sat in a little hotel room with a group of people and drank. It was such a bad time. And some of the people there weren't even my friends. They were my friends' friends. So I didn't know these fucking people. So yeah, it was just not a fun time. I did have only one other, like, celebration for my 21st birthday. My dad took me to a bar we have here in downtown Sacramento called the Co-op, or the Coin-Op, sorry, which is a video game bar. So there's a bunch of old video game machines and a bunch of old arcade machines and a bunch of pinball machines, and then they have there's a bar in the center, and it was really cool. It's weird playing quarter arcade games again when you, like, you go to so many arcades now where you got to get the little fucking debit card. Like the little fucking arcade debit card and swipe, and that's how they fuck you over, mind you, also, by the way, is you don't realize how much money you're sinking into the card because it's not a physical amalgamation of, like, oh, I have so many coins. So if you have, 10 coins and that game costs 5, you're like, fuck, that's half my coins. But credits are, and that's the thing they get you to is, with coins, obviously it's like, what, a quarter per coin, so $1 for 4 coins. But with the card, for $20 you can get, like, 1,000 points, but every game is like 100 or 200 or 400. So it's like, it seems like a lot, but then you play 5-6 games and then you're going, shit, I need more. But so yeah, it is weird. Like, like I remember we showed up to the quarter arcade and I was like, shit, I'm gonna need some cash. So we put a 20 in, and I went home with a jar full of fucking coins because I could not for the life of me spend that many coins. Are you fucking kidding me? Especially if you're like not even good, but like somewhat decent at the games. You'll never spend that much money because you're just, it's a fucking quarter per game. But yeah, so we played, played some Galaga, played some Pac-Man, all that kind of stuff, played some pinball, we drank, we took a shot together. It was cool. And then also, God, I've had some shitty birthdays. I guess there's really only two, but like the two like milestone birthdays, quote unquote, were both very shitty for me. Like, it's always like 18 is supposed to be exciting, because you're supposed to do all this shit, and then 21 is supposed to be even more exciting, so you could do like the rest of the shit, right? So I remember when I turned 18. That's when you're allowed to pretty much buy anything you want, and because you're considered an adult, which I didn't even care about. I don't smoke or anything. But I remember when I turned 18, right in the middle of like my birthday week, I got strep throat. So on my 18th birthday, like the actual celebration, I was at peak strep throat. So I was just in pain and just like so fucked up on medicine trying to like get rid of it. And I like couldn't eat anything for my birthday because I was so sick, and like, oh, it's just such a bad fucking time. And so yeah, so my 18th birthday, I was just completely fucking sick with strep throat. And then I did go get my first tattoo with an old friend of mine when I turned 18, because that was one thing I really, really wanted to do. But I was told by my parents, you can do that the minute you turn 18. You can go get a fucking tattoo if you want, because there's nothing I could do about it. But until you turn 18, you're not allowed to, which, whatever. But I went and got it. And upon doing that, I want to say this to people who are planning on getting a tattoo, if it's your first, especially if you're freshly 18, do the fucking research first, because I was fortunate enough to have my tattoo turn out pretty good, but I didn't research the place I went to. I didn't really look into it at all. I didn't look into the process of how to take care of a tattoo, or what would go into it, or how expensive it would be. I literally just went to the first shop me and my friend found online, and he at the time wasn't even going to get one. It was just because I put a lot of thought. That was the one thing I did think about the most, was what did I want my first tattoo to be. And for those of you who haven't seen it on my channel, it is the Kingdom Hearts 2. It's the nobody and the heartless symbol when they sort of intertwine with each other. I always knew I wanted that to be my first tattoo, because Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite game of all time. I think it's a really cool tattoo. I think the colors match my skin really well, and I just think it's really pretty to look at. But beyond thinking about what I wanted, I really didn't do much research, so I didn't realize how expensive it was going to be, which was fine because I was making money at the time, and I didn't really have any bills yet, because like I said, I was freshly 18. So I had like saved up a bit, but and I also, again, I didn't look into the shop I went to, which I was fortunate enough to pick a pretty simple tattoo. It's mostly just lines and stuff. But if I had picked some of the ones I want now, it could have easily been botched pretty hard, because this was not the best shop in the world. After looking at their product and stuff. But yeah, so me and my friend went. He actually, like I said, he wasn't scheduled to get one at first, but then he got really hyped up and he wanted one, and he did something else, which, I mean, if you do this is fine, but I wouldn't do this personally. But he didn't think about what he wanted, so he just looked through the books and like picked a random one. First of all, he was Hispanic, but he looked like the whitest motherfucker in the world. And he got a fucking tribal tattoo. Don't do that. First of all, hey, don't do that. You know? Probably don't. But so he got it. And also it sucked because his took about 40 minutes, and the guy that did his had this, like, it was like a silent tattoo gun. So, like, didn't make any noise, or not a lot of noise anyway, and didn't really look like it hurt all that much. And then I go into mine, and he's got, like, the old school one. So it sounds like a gun going off. And mine ended up taking about 3 hours. It sucked a lot. Definitely was not a good time. But it's one of those weird things where it's like, even though it sucked a lot, and I know it sucked a lot, I want to get way more. I'm planning a left arm sleeve right now on my of all of my favorite Junji Ito characters, because he's one of my favorite horror artists of all time. I think his character design is awesome. And his work just means a lot to me. So I'm going to do all of my favorite characters on my left arm of his. And I want, full sleeves, knuckles, hands, legs, everything. But that's very expensive. So it takes a lot of time and planning. But that's the most important thing I think I'm trying to say is, like, sit down with an artist and plan. Know that it's going to be expensive. Don't try and go in and get the cheapest deal you can, because if it's really something you want on your body forever, you want the best quality work, and the best quality work is probably going to cost a lot. But that's the price of high quality work. These artists sink a lot of time and energy and work into these pieces, because it's more than just they gotta draw it out for you, make sure it's all correct. They have to, if they fuck it up, that's on somebody's body forever. So it's a very stressful job, and tattoo artists should be paid a lot of money for the tattoos they do, because, like I said, if you want a quality piece of art on your body, then yeah, you're gonna have to pay the big bucks for it. That's just how it works. So if you want to go get a cheap little dingy tattoo somewhere, that's fine too, if that's what you want. But just know you're not going to walk into a shop and get a fucking full forearm piece for $100. It's going to be expensive as shit, but it's going to last a long time, and it's going to look good for a long time. But yeah, so I'm just going to wrap it up there. I apologize for this being like a really, really, really short episode. Like I said, I'm re-recording this. And I'm just not, I don't know, man. Like, it's not that I'm not feeling doing the podcast. I'm just in like a weird headspace right now. So I'm hoping I can just like snap out of that as well. But we'll see where I'm at. But I want to say thank you guys so much for joining me here on today's episode. I appreciate it so much. Make sure you go like, subscribe, and all that. Like I said, I'm trying to work on stuff, but it's just been a very interesting and weird time. And I'm not gonna disregard my mental health to make videos and stuff. It's just not healthy. But yeah, so thank you for joining me, and all that stuff. Go check out my Patreon, go check out all my other stuff. Hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for stopping by.